Good morning, my listeners. This is Wiktor, Doctor, and this is episode number 34 of Good Morning BSS World podcast. The podcast I do record from Europe, from Poland, from Warsaw, and the stories which you can hear within it are concerning the area of outsourcing and business services. Yes, this is one of the areas which I am very much focused on daily basis, and I do try to find for you some interesting topics, stories, sometimes myths of outsourcing and BSS world, which I do share inside of Good Morning BSS World podcast. So today I do have for you a short story about a very interesting publication. Actually, I think we can call it a report. Yes, the author of this publication is Gekko AdvisoryNOW, a consulting agency which is based in capital of Poland, which is Warsaw. And Gekko AdvisoryNOW is doing a lot of interesting activities. He's running a lot of interesting activities which are supporting international and local businesses in their growth and understanding of what and how can be done in the business services world. So, Gekko AdvisoryNOW is quite a young organization. If I'm not wrong, they are more or less 2 or 3 years old. Sorry if I am missed with that, but the reason of today's podcast is not to focus on that how old is Gekko AdvisoryNOW, but what kind of interesting publication they have just released on market. The date on this report is named November 2020, but actually it was released in the first week of December. What am I talking about in here? It's PolandNOW. Poland as the destination for your investment. The title sounds very generally, and yes, it is presenting a general overview of Poland as the destination for international investments. But a lot of those details are actually very interesting from the perspective of the business support services industry. So what am I talking about in here? I'm talking about the publication which has 13 pages full of information. Those are 7 business reasons which are mentioned in here in this publication why to invest in Poland. What you can find inside? You can find here stories about economy, about political maturity and business-oriented approach, about labor cost, about costs of office spaces, about costs of living, set of information concerning business, services industry, also business mindset, some information about country logistics, and one-pager focused on highly skilled professionals. So this is what you can expect within this publication. So let me go through that. I will do my best actually to share with you the main points from that publication, and once I finish, please take a look on the description of this episode and you can download your free copy of this report and get familiar with all other details. So let me get inside. I will start with those 7 reasons to invest in Poland. They are already presented on the second page, and what do they say? They sound like this: good economic performance, business-oriented approach, attractive cost of doing business, customer-oriented attitude with multicultural experience, entrepreneurial culture and business mindset, strategic location in the continental Europe, globally comfortable time zone and balanced climate, and highly skilled professionals, and hunger for success now, as it is written in this report. So let me go through some of the details. I will not tell you about all of the details from this publication because it is very transparent, it is very well prepared, so you will enjoy actually going through those 13 pages. But let me tell you just few important things. So in the good economic performance and stability section, you can find out information about GDP at market prices in Europe. You can find here information about unemployment rate, which actually starting from 2013 is going down and down and down, and already in the year 2019 was somewhere on the level of 5%. Of course, the year of 2020 has raised it up a little bit, but this is not a big difference comparing to the previous years. Then in this section you also can find real GDP growth per capita in percentage, and as it is shown, it is comparing not only Poland but also European Union 27 countries. So as it is mentioned in here, the GDP growth per capita is actually higher in Poland than average in Europe. Then again, you've got a section about trade balance, comparing export, import and the balance, comparing those two sections. This is very nicely presented, starting from the year of 2008 and ending on 2019. Then again, we've got a section about the political maturity and business-oriented approach. In this section, the authors have presented information about the Polish Investment and Trade Agency, but also investor assistance centers, local regional development agencies, and Pro Progressio Group is also mentioned in here. Why do I mention Pro Progressio Group? Because I am actually standing in front of this group, and since already 8 years we are supporting the growth of business support services. So big thanks to Gekko AdvisoryNOW for mentioning us in their great publication. But let's move forward. In this section about the political maturity and business-oriented approach, you can find out also total FDI net inflows in billions of euros, which are, this information is based on National Bank of Poland data. Here you can get familiar with some numbers. Yeah, I do love numbers. So, for example, the total FDI net inflows in Poland amounted euro 9.7 billions in 2019, and total FDI net inflows from EU 28 amounted 8 billion euro in 2019. So 83% of total inflows. The highest FDI net inflows was recorded from Germany, the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Belgium and Italy, and the numbers which are dedicated to each of those countries are outlined in this report and in this publication. Another great section actually in this publication is attractive cost of doing business, which is divided into few other sections. The report starts with labor costs. So here you can find out what is the monthly gross salary in FMCG sector and B2B sector, for example. You can find out also the monthly gross salaries in finance and accounting. You can find also information about monthly gross salaries in law and tax. Yes, so here you've got examples of positions starting from junior accountants, law assistants or sales specialists and ending on law department directors, CFOs or for example sales directors. You can get the feeling if the salaries in Poland are on attractive level, or maybe they are lower of this what you were expecting, or maybe they are a little bit higher. Everything depends on the level of the experience of a person you are looking for. But all of this you can find in this report. So let's move forward. Another part of the costs is focus on the office spaces. Yes, in here the authors of this publication have collected a lot of data, actually showing what is the price range of office space to rent in euro per square meter per month in the following cities: Warsaw, Krakow, Wrocław, Tri-City, Poznań, Katowice, Łódź, Lublin and Szczecin, which are one of the, not one, they are the group of the most attractive cities for the BSS sector as well. There are a few missing on that scale, but nevertheless those are very popular destinations for the operation centers for BPO and SSC companies. This page with the office spaces is also showing the vacancy rate in percentage between the cities. So you can find out where actually there is the highest rate of vacancy when it comes to the office spaces in Polish cities. This part of the report is based on the data coming from JLL, which is one of the leading real estate agencies supporting business support services in Poland. So there are also some other elements mentioned on that page, including, for example, this 11.55 million of square meters of modern office space. This is the availability of modern office space, and attractive rental conditions remained key factors in order for business to develop. This is actually a quote from the first sentence from that page. The others you need to find on your own. Let's move forward, because this is not the last part focused on the costs. Another section is named costs of living. So on this page you can find information about the inflation rate, or for example the price level index in 2019. A lot of comments, good two graphs which are based on data coming from Eurostat. Yeah, Poland is again compared to the whole European Union, and it is great because this is giving you a good reference point to see how Poland is actually presented in comparison to all other European countries. Then my favorite section, which is focused on the business services. Yes, here the data is coming from the Tonon Services Globalization Index, which, if you are not familiar of that, is generated every year by Tonon's group, and is presenting the list of cities which are actually recommended for setting up over there the BPO and SSC centers. This index is updated every year, and it's, for example, showing that on that list you can find that Krakow and Warsaw are two cities which are on the top 100 BPO destinations list prepared by Tonon Services. Actually, Krakow is on the position number 11 and Warsaw is on the position number 21. This also includes a nice graph that within European Union, Poland is the number one destination for the BPO centers. Let me go to another section in the report, which is focused on the foreign languages. Yes, Poland is very much focused on the international businesses and supporting them in their native languages. So here you've got a list of over 30 different languages. Actually, this is rather close to 40 than 30, which is presenting how many and what kind of languages are being used in the BSS sector. So very important information, because most of the BSS investments which are coming to Poland are not typically English ones. They are all actually coming from other countries, and understanding using foreign languages is more than welcome in the BSS sector in Poland. Of course, English is a must, but you can find out here that such languages like German, French, Italian, Spanish, Russian, Dutch, Portuguese, Czech, Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, Finnish, Slovak, and many others are in the common use in the operation centers run in Poland. Okay, another section which is called entrepreneurial culture and business mindset. Here, this is a tough data coming from Global Entrepreneurship Index, which is presenting that according to that index, Poland is ranked number 3 in CE region, number 17 in Europe, and number 29 in the world, so globally. So anyway, here a lot of interesting tips and hints and bullet points which are absolutely worth to follow. Then, of course, if you are considering Poland as your location, you need to know about the logistics of the country. The country is located in the middle of the Central and Eastern Europe. It's very well commuted with a number of airports, with a fantastic highways which are connecting the main cities in Poland. And this is, of course, mentioned as well in the Gekko AdvisoryNOW publication. So here you can find out how many, for example, millions of travelers were landing in the Polish airports. Yeah, so this is also mentioned in this report. Like, for example, the Frederick Chopin Okęcie Airport in Warsaw served 18.85 million passengers in 2019. And there are also some other information mentioned in this report. Then I think the last but not least section in the report, which is highly skilled professionals. On that page you can find out, for example, average weekly working time in Poland, which, as the Gekko AdvisoryNOW experts say, is now on the level of 41 hours. This is 1 hour higher than in the rest of Europe. So actually Polish people are very much focused on work, and they are very good employees, which are worth to consider if you are considering actually to grow your business somewhere in the world. Why not to go to Poland? Why not to focus on Poland? Why not to invest in Poland? So Gekko AdvisoryNOW is another agency, another company which is giving to you in English very well prepared publication. I'm more than sure that Violetta Małek, who is the managing partner of Gekko AdvisoryNOW and who is the author of this publication, would be very much willing to answer any of your questions. So anyway, full stop goes in here. If you want to get more information about why to invest in Poland or why Poland is worth to focus on when it comes to your business growth, then jump into this report, take a few minutes to read it, or give a call to Violetta or email her, because all those contact details are also mentioned in this publication, and I'm more than sure you will get what you need. Thank you for today. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your attention. Remember to subscribe this podcast, this Good Morning BSS World podcast, which I am recording to you from Poland, from Europe, from Warsaw. Thank you very much for today, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.